Oh,
It's another episode. Here we are. Yeah.
it's the boys covering the boys.
Yeah.
It's the boys covering the boys.
It's the boys. Boys. I haven't done that with my lips for a long time.
That was incredible. I don't think I've ever seen you do it. Do it again.
Wait. I can't do it when I'm laughing or smiling. Hang on. It's the boys. There you go.
I have not seen that in the 7 or so years, mate. That's incredible.
Thank you.
What a joy.
Oh. How are you, my friend? You good? How's your week been?
Dandy, mate. Loving life. Life has been all right. Nothing as excitable as your Saturday night, my friend.
Oh, my days. Saturday night was Foo Fighters night. What is that banging?
So, just as we've started the podcast, one of the things I was going to mention is they're doing work next door, and they've now chosen to pipe up. So there is there's a work being done next door. So
Brilliant.
During the podcast, you're going to hear banging all for the whole hour.
Welcome to the banging. We went to see Foo Fighters. It was at the London Stadium on Saturday. It was the best night. I think it was the 8th time I've seen Foo Fighters now, and it was the first time I've seen them since Taylor Hawkins sadly passed away, their drummer. And be honest, mate, it was an emotional one. It was full of emotions, and it was incredible. There were moments where I was just sort of standing, just watching, going crikey, because every time I see them, right, I'm brought back to my childhood and my teens, my 20s, my early 20s, watching them and the life I had then, and then kind of thinking it's always an opportunity to reflect. I don't know why, but Foo Fighters seems to be that type of band for me, and it was incredible. There has been controversy though, and I'll tell you this.
Yes, I believe I know the controversy. Were you there on the night?
I was there on the night.
Oh, explain it to us, man.
So on the night, as simultaneously as Foo Fighters were playing at the London Stadium in East London, in West London, we had Taylor Swift taking over Wembley Stadium. And there were actually quite a few fans of Foo Fighters wearing Taylor Swift tops, which I thought either they're doing that ironically or they're Taylor Swift fans and they were there the night before. But Foo Fighters, Dave Grohl, frontman, basically made a comment over the fact of Taylor Swift not, I say in quote marks here, not playing live as much as Foo Fighters do. To see real live rock and roll. It was a joke. It was a jab, playful jab, but I think people were very much taking that, and the Swifties have definitely weaponized it. Now, because the problem is, mate, I've caught myself in the crossfire over the last 48 hours over it on Twitter. Because I've been in the Foo Fighters camp, basically just giving over the GIF on Peep Show, when Thingy goes, it was a joke, Mark, it was a Christmas joke. So I've been sending that for about 48 hours just to sort of still keep light of it. When I was there, he was not saying it maliciously. He was saying it as a respectful kind of banter. It was not. He has. Before that happened, he mentioned how good she was once, and also in that comment said, you don't want to fuck with Taylor Swift fans. Well, I found out you certainly don't want to fuck with Taylor Swift fans, because Taylor Swift fans could quite easily overthrow government, because they are like a pack of wolves, man. Like, that is like, I put a joke up saying I've been putting this Peep Show GIF on. I'm assuming that Taylor Swift fans don't know what Peep Show is, because they keep asking me what this is, and then a barrage of comments on my Twitter came up.
Oh, no.
Well, I mean, there was one that I was like, hang on, I'm going to say it. I got started. Sorry. Where is it? Oh, I'm loving that banging, man.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to mute as often as possible here, so I apologise, listeners, for this.
Oh, I don't know where it's gone. Maybe someone's deleted it. Somebody said to me,
"There's loads. You will really go down a list."
Somebody said it's my favourite show, but keep stereotyping Swifties.
Jesus Christ. So, I mean, as an outsider to this, I think there's something really big here to say, which is it's a sad indictment of 21st century, 2024. No one is allowed to say a joke anymore, apparently.
Calm down.
I mean, the guy has said in a joking tone that he plays more live music. Now, the Foo Fighters is a rock band. They have loads of instruments that, of course, they play live. They are a live rock band. Taylor Swift plays a guitar.
Yeah.
Right? End of discussion. She plays a guitar, right? Whether it's live or whether it's not live, she's not a rock band. They are not the same artist. They don't do the same thing. So therefore, of course, it's a joke. He's not comparing himself to Taylor Swift at all. I wouldn't see him do a country ballad on his own with a guitar.
Ah, there we go. I found the comment. Okay, so somebody said it's to me as a reply. I said agreed. I was there on Saturday. It was a harmless joke, and then I left the gif of it. It was a joke mark, a Christmas joke. Then somebody said it's not harmless when it teaches the younger generation that it's okay to invalidate the hard work of women for just the sake of marking a joke in quotation marks. It's tired and he's old and he can do better.
So now we've probably lost 95% of our listeners.
But I want to say, dear listener, if you are a Swiftie, all the love and power to you. It's amazing. The concerts look awesome. They look incredible. It's not my cup of tea. Taylor Swift isn't the artist I would go and watch. However, I would have definitely paid £100+ to go see Paramore, but probably not for 45 minutes. But fair play. Like those stadium concerts look incredible, but I don't know.
Amazing. And there's celebrities there every day.
Yeah. Paul McCartney was there, wasn't he?
He was there. That would be my only thing, is that there seems to be quite a large amount of people going to these Taylor Swift concerts to see other celebrities. I'm like,
yeah.
You've paid a lot of money to go and see Taylor Swift, and yet you seem far more excited about Andrew Scott being there. And I'm like, so are you really a fan, or are you just there because I know if me and you went to see The Darkness or Foo Fighters, if fair enough, if Andrew Scott was there, we'd be like, oh, it's Andrew Scott. But I certainly wouldn't be filming the guy for 40 minutes whilst potentially my favourite band are on the stage. Do you know what I mean?
It's bizarre.
I mean, we're in a weird world, folks. Put your phones away, enjoy the artist that you've paid over £100 to see, and allow a joke. Let's move on.
Do you know that's very true? So at the Foo Fighters gig, there was a moment where Violet Grohl, Dave Grohl's daughter, was singing a song beautifully, and there was a bit of a call and response from the audience to Violet. And it just happened really organically. And I think it caught her off guard, because basically what happened at the end, she ended up just kind of crying. But what happened was, from this really lovely organic moment where really nobody had their phones out, doing this call and response to her, the moment she started crying, everybody got their phones out and started recording it. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Don't clip those things. It's like, just let them be.
Let's talk about the boys.
Oh my God, let's talk about the boys. Anyway, wow, yeah. So, dear listener, that was our beginning bit. That was our little preamble rant. How are you? I hope you're well. I hope you're good. Thank you so much for coming back to another episode of Don't Be a Hero podcast. It's exciting times. We've got, in terms of, it's not really much of an announcement, but we're doing, we've got an opportunity by another business enterprise that have contacted us to put together some more reviews of other titles, so which aren't necessarily superhero, but we are able to select the ones that are starring actors that might have been in a superhero project. That's kind of how we're going about it, but there'll be more reviews coming out soon that might not be superhero related, and we'll kind of put those up on our Friday episode soon. We'll reveal what that will be at the end of the episode, but today is all about The Boys, a season 4, episode 4. Let's go with the intro.
And there's the intro. Yes, we're on episode 4. We reviewed the first 3 episodes were available to us last week, and we've got episode 4, where we
what was it called? What was the title? Sorry.
Oh, that's good. Oh, well, you bloody launched me with these questions, mate, out of nowhere. Oh, yeah, Forrest, you've done your research. What's the fucking episode called? How long was the episode as well, Forrest? It was called Wisdom of the Ages. That's what it's called.
Okay, sorry.
Which kind of, they love a weird name, don't they? Because Wisdom of the Ages, yeah, I can kind of get it, but, it's not. They're not titles that you're like, oh, that's really clever how they worked that in. But yeah, Wisdom of the Ages. My main comment, my most overview summarised comment would have to be how many different plots can one episode have?
Mate, I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad you said that, because I was thinking and feeling exactly the same thing. I was watching it going, this is all over the shot, and that makes it sound like it's a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just, as a reflection point, just noticing that there are loads and loads of different plot points that are playing out, and also interesting pairings. We got Kimiko and Huey episode, which we have never got.
Never got it, and also I think I hear Amazon Prime releasing 3 episodes and then an episode a week, right? It's an odd format at the best of times, but The Boys has historically always had a bit of an issue where it comes to, you kind of have to watch a series of The Boys like as a clump, because actually there are so many characters, so many things happen across a season, that just watching an episode in isolation hasn't really ever been possible with The Boys. There's a couple of episodes that really do a lot and kind of nip it in the bud, but on the whole, I'd say The Boys is the least thing that you would watch one episode and go, oh yeah, cool, brilliant. I'm finding it an odd choice that they're releasing an episode a week because of exactly this problem. There are so many plots that by the end of that episode you're like, right, okay, we've not bow tied any of this. One plot we kind of have, right? But on the whole, it's very difficult to be like, okay, I can watch that in isolation. Whereas if I think of, again, I keep comparing it, but if I think of The Walking Dead, there are certainly Walking Dead episodes that have an arc within the episode, right? There'll be long-running themes, but in the episode, it will achieve something. There are a couple of examples in this episode, but one that's a little bit of a, not really finished, and one that's a bit questionable on its content anyway, but I'll leave it for now. You mentioned Huey and Kimiko. I think Huey and Kimiko is a good start actually, because it's a secondary plot in this, isn't it? But it's actually a great one. Quite like it.
So I'm just going to go straight into a quote that I found on Rotten Tomatoes. So the episode dropped late last week, and talking about the fact that we're having to watch this now weekly after a batch of 3 episodes. Hayley Whitmire, who is a TV fanatic, commented on the review page of Rotten Tomatoes. It says the boys manages to surprise us. The boys manages to surprise us at every turn. Tuning in every week is starting to feel risky. Right, but it is. I don't know whether that's in relation to the fact that what you were saying in terms of like the fact now we're just kind of left with more questions each at the end of every episode, other than kind of being like, okay, well, let's have this contained bit of story told in an hour. Let's have a beginning, a middle, and end there. Great, that's all finished. Lovely. We can have cliffhangers. We can have, open moments here and there with certain, storylines and stuff. But it felt every line of story that was told, and there was about 3 or 4 at least in this episode that were left with unanswered resolvements. And
it goes back to last. I remember in the last episode, I said that one of the things I would have preferred with the format of The Boys was that each episode focused on a different character or couple of characters, and then you had occasional scenes which brought in other characters or more things going on, but that episode had a real fine constraint of, so this episode could be argued Homelander's episode. Yeah. So I would have made that far more. This is a Homelander's episode. So I don't know, maybe call it Homelander Origins, something like that, right? And then and have far less of the other scenes that were going on. Problem is, it wasn't a Homelander episode because actually I would argue there was far more footage of other people than there was of actual Homelander. We only saw Homelander actually about 4 times in this episode, and the episode's an hour long. Like, we didn't see him a lot. So
in terms of like our current overviews with the series, is that it's certainly packing a punch, but it's hitting differently. It's hitting in a very uncertain kind of view as well. We're not saying that the series is bad at the moment. I think there's quite a lot of hate going towards this season at the moment online. And I don't know if that's completely fair, because again, we're only episode 4, but maybe by this time, I was kind of hoping by this episode we were going to find a little bit more substance. But I think there was positives in this episode for me, and I think if we let's focus on Homelander's storyline first. So this was, I've got to say, for Anthony Starr, this was his kind of like moment in the episode, in terms of not just kind of just playing the Homelander we've seen of the last 3 series, but this is the Homelander that has kind of gone, you know what, screw it, I'm going to play with you all. You're my toy. And literally, we got to see this in what I loved about it is the location. We go to the bunker of where Homelander grew up, and we are, for that whole episode, with all of the people that are in that space, contained to one location. It's like what it was like, and what it felt like is that you've got all of these little lovely workers that are going in, and then all of a sudden you've got a caged lion that comes into that space and goes, I'm just going to maul you all to death, but I will tell you when that's going to happen. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. The moment he came into the space, he took control of the whole environment, and he was loving every second of it. And I thought we saw some really good performances from Anthony Starr. But I've got to say, not just in the Homelander bit, but also in the whole episode, this has got to be one of the most disgusting episodes in the series. And when I say disgusting, I mean just visually, what the fuck? I don't know. Yeah. This is the other thing. Like, all of the shock value with the big gore and all the kind of stuff. The bit where Thingy got a flipping frontal lobotomy just to feel numb for a bit. Like, those moments, I was like, wait, what? It's not reacting in the way it did in the first season. Basically, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I think, just to highlight that, we're kind of jumping around a bit, but but again, that's the kind of the essence of this program. I think it's really hard to isolate moments, because a moment is followed by like just a 5-second glimpse into someone else's life, and then you go somewhere else. So it's the nature of the show. But I think so. That's Sage and Deep, isn't it? Sage is the one. Yeah. So Yeah, and I think just with that, it's all a bit. because it's so condensed. It's like, who are we following? Because like that whole thing with the frontal lobotomy, look, that's a huge like addition to Sage's character. That's not, you know, you can't just pick that apart. In a 2-minute scene like that. We need to know more about Sage and more about, okay, well, how does that work? That raises far more questions than just, this is what I do, stick a needle in my eye. It's like, what? Like, give me further context to this. Give me, like, you know, why Deep? Why have these scenes with Deep? Where's that? Where, you know, some level of connection there, rather than just randomly we didn't know what to do with Deep, so we shoved him in a plot with Sage.
Kind of what it feels like.
It really feels like that, and it's like, come on, like, we need more. They need more intelligent writers in the room. Like, why are we pairing Sage and Deep? What, you know, not just, oh yeah, we're gonna have sex, and by the way, the reason for the sex is because she does this frontal thing, which means she chills out. It's the same effect as drugs, and then when she doesn't have that effect, she's not interested in Deep. Okay, but that's ultra one-dimensional. And actually, are we going to get, you know, is it going to become three-dimensional later in the series? And actually, Sage doesn't require that in order, you know, her and Deep do actually get deep feelings for each other. But see, I just really don't think so.
What worked in the earlier seasons is that each characters of the Seven, when they were working with other members of the Seven, they wanted something from them. There was something to gain in terms of a transaction. That might be, I want you to, I know, or I'm being blackmailed. I have to work with you because I'm covering something up that I've done in my deep dark past, right? But right now, we are just getting pairings with members of the Seven that are new, so we don't actually know much about them at all, in a way that it's just unexplained. Like the Deep is, we don't understand why the Deep is with Sage right now, other than the fact that he's just getting, you know, he's getting sex from her. Is that it? And if that's the case, why is the Deep so shallow? Why is the Deep so very good? I caught myself out there, but like, why is he being like so one-dimensional about it? He's been a character for the last 4 seasons. He's got depth. He's got something that there was this whole redemption arc that he could have gone on, but he's gone back to being a bit of a wet fish. Very good. I can't stop. Stop me. Oh.
He's slapping him out. Look at him.
Sorry.
But yeah, no, agreed. And actually, it brings me on to a very similar feeling that I have for another plot that's going on, and that is between Firecracker and Starlight.
Yeah.
Now, why on earth, right? Okay, so Firecracker, because I'm trying to understand this. Firecracker and Starlight knew each other. Starlight was like a bit of a diva, a bit of a dick, which meant that Firecracker was against Starlight, right? That, am I right about that?
Yep.
That's the kind of, right. So childhood trauma, whatever, grew up, you know, and Firecracker's sort of obviously been jealous of Starlight, blah, 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 right? Firecracker now finds herself in the Seven, of which Starlight, fuck's sake, not again, Starlight is not in the Seven. Yeah. She retired from the Seven. So why on earth would Firecracker give that much of a shit of Starlight now for her to go, like, medical records, go, like, for me, it just jars completely, because why would Firecracker, I know I suppose in the earlier episode they brought the fight to Firecracker at the expo, but that was before Firecracker was part of the Seven, right? Then she got access to be part of it. So now I don't understand why that is still going on. That wouldn't be going on. Firecracker got to where she wanted to be, which was she got on the Seven, she accomplished her dream. There was no reason for her or any of the Seven, really, at this point, to bring any kind of fight to Starlight. Because what Starlight's, as far as they're aware, not achieving jack shit behind the scenes.
So I mean, other than the fact that Sage is the puppet master right now, is kind of coming in, going, look, this is how we can overthrow the boys, the rebels, and everybody's going back into Team 4. Is if we break down Starlight in a way that's through public opinion. And this is I want to say, aside from the Homelander stuff,
there is that. Yeah.
Aside from the Homelander stuff, the Firecracker and Starlight feud, let's say, that's kind of now very much in play. I quite enjoyed this episode because I think it again.
Okay.
If we this episode, I quite enjoyed this story in the episode. Because it sort of shows, again, a reflection of the times that we are living in, how people break down human beings and exploit people on the basis that they can find history about them. Like the fact that it went from, this Starlight isn't the Starlight you knew, but this is the story of how I know her, this is how much of a bitch she is, and then it got to, so then that's one layer, boom, she realises that her first save then wasn't a very good first save, she ended up blinding a woman. That kind of happens, that news breaks out, and then she goes down even to a deeper layer, where she gets to her medical records, and then finds out that she had an abortion at one point. And that type of tactical exploitation of people's personal information has happened countless times to politicians, to public figures, and rightly or wrongly as well. But like the other thing is that that's a really good reflection of what can happen in this world. But also, for the first time, you saw Starlight in a really vulnerable position. And what I thought was a good choice is that she lost her shiz and went straight for her and threw some hands at the end of the episode. Because I thought we need to see a little bit of rage here. We need to see something else from Starlight other than just kind of like, no, I've got to be the calm, collected one. Why are we all killing each other? Blah, blah, blah. No, she's got to lose it now. She's got to kind of like Bruce Wayne it up. When Bruce Wayne gets pushed, Bruce Wayne loses it, you know? I quite enjoyed that. So I'm interested to see where she goes next with that. Because now the whole public has seen it.
Yeah, true. You've converted me there, Matt. You reminded me about the popularity thing, and you have converted me. Yeah. I'm converted, and I agree. Actually, on retrospect, not as bad of a plot as I thought.
Do you know what? That's happened a few times on this podcast, and every time it does happen, I go, yeah.
The one thing, the part of it that we haven't talked about is the abortion, right?
Yeah.
So this is the first time. This is one of the questions I was going to ask. Actually, this is the first time we know about her and Huey ever having a potential baby.
Yeah, I think that's quite an interesting reveal.
It is an interesting reveal. I would say.
Is it Huey though? Is it or is it something that happened before Huey?
I think it is Huey, because Huey, they have the scene where she goes, I just I wasn't ready or whatever, wasn't it?
So in that case, then Huey's going to find out, and
Huey has found out. They have a scene together, mate.
Have I missed something? My brain's taken out of scene.
I'm sure they have a scene together, and she goes, I just wasn't ready. That's how we found, like, them two go. They're in the park, aren't they? Have I just imagined this scene? They were in a park together. Her and Thingy in this episode.
Have I got amnesia? I cannot remember that.
Huey, oh my god, Huey and Starlight's pregnancy scene, episode 4. You've really. I mean, I kind of imagine.
I know, genuinely
right?
I cannot picture a scene of that other than in season 1, season 2.
Homelander and feeling incredibly bad for Annie. She got pregnant as a result of. Oh, no. That's different people.
I mean, dear listener, if it happened, can you please tell us?
Oh my god, that's insane.
Are you making up scenes, Forrest?
I'm not going to lie.
Did you watch the episode, Forrest?
No. Here you go.
It did happen.
5 days ago.
Did I watch
I'm
the
not going to lie. I teared up seeing Annie talk with Huey and her being scolded by
I'm going to have
Singer.
to watch the episode again now. Because that's literally escaped my mind. That's not in my notes at all.
100% they were in the park together.
Wow.
100%, mate. Actually, that's a good point. Why didn't I just look at my own notes? That would have probably saved me some time, shouldn't it? Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, cool. Okay. Well, in that case, that's really interesting. That adds a lot to their character development as well. I think there's going to be. And now I've got to watch it because now I don't know what was Huey's reaction. Was it positive? Was it bad?
I think it was. it was kind of monotonous. So which is why I was a little bit like, okay. I think they both agreed basically to a certain degree. But again, it kind of goes secondary because we've got Hugh, everything going on with Hugh and his dad. So it feels a bit jarring to Hugh in the rest of this episode. But now you've really fucked me over because now I'm I don't even know if this. I don't know if I've dreamt this now. So this is the first time we're going to have to end the podcast, go and find out, and then job done.
Yeah,
this is wild.
That's wild.
Wild
it's never happened before. Like, I'm genuinely a bit worried there. I'm like, I freaked myself out a little bit there because I was like, have I really missed something? And I wasn't on my phone at all, other than taking notes for the episode, or I must have been. Oh my god! Do you know what, dear listener? do you do this? Do you sometimes you're just finding yourself when you're watching TV now or episodes of films, whatever it might be, and if you've got your phone nearby, you're able to follow something, but also then doom scroll at the same time. And when you think about that, you're multifunctioning there, and I couldn't have done that 20 years ago. Do you know what I mean? But clearly I must have switched off at some point. But hey, that's fine. That's fine.
Here you go. Yes. It's 50 minutes in. It's right towards the end of the episode. It's Huey, and they hug each other. Yeah, it's all quite
Mate, I missed
you can't remember that scene at all, mate.
I watched this yesterday. Okay, cool.
That's insane.
It's really worrying. Okay. Anyway,
so they do talk about it, but I think it's a bit of an odd one because it's like it's an odd way of storytelling. Like for us to find that out through another character when actually Huey and Annie are massive characters in The Boys, that's an odd, obscure storytelling choice.
Yeah,
which is kind of worries you because it kind of feels like it's oh shit, like oh crap, we need to put how can we make the stakes high with Firecracker? Shit, we need to add a pregnancy in this, so we need to add like this random scene with her and Huey. So it is a bit odd, but yeah. Let's talk about Homelander now, mate.
Yeah, I think this was the opportunity to kind of, when we're going full into villainy, this is what we do with Homelander, and this was that episode, and if anything, it's showing us now that he is not just unhinged, but fully unhinged. The shackles are off of Homelander. Homelander now, I think, will be at a place where he's quite willing to take out just anyone now, if they just give him or look at him wrongly.
I'm slightly amazed with that. I take umbrage to that because one of the first ever things we see of Homelander is he kills an entire plane worth of people, Matt.
Oh, that's true. That's true. That's true.
I'd argue pretty early on we knew that he was capable of anything. But yes,
but he had more constraint.
Yes, I understand where you're coming from. Yeah. In a far more brutal fashion. That was just, we can't do any. We're not going to step in and do anything. Whereas now he is stepping in and doing something horrific. Like, I suppose that's the So I found, I've got to be honest, I found this great and the best plot in this episode by a country mile for sure. However, I felt again, because of the amount of plots in the episode and the amount of characters to follow, we didn't get as much time on this as we could and should have. So it was very much like he goes down to the laboratory, he kills the Burns. Oh yeah, Burns. He burns a staff member alive. I can't remember the name of that guy, the initial guy. Frank, nice. And then we jump. We get two characters that he obviously fucks over, and one of them is Marty even. And then we get Barbara at the end, but she doesn't fuck over Barbara. It's very disjointed. It's like, okay, we're joining the action later on. Whereas I think I would have liked a far more almost like a one shot. I would have enjoyed the whole episode just being that.
Oh my god.
Could you imagine? Like, this is so fundamental to the biggest character of this entire show plot, right? This is why Homelander is Homelander. All of the reasons of Homelander's behaviour and Homelander's like the way he was made all stems from this laboratory down here, right? So why on earth not just let us enjoy a whole episode where he goes, you know, he teases people, he manipulates a couple of people, and then we just get the end of it where he just goes, you know what, fuck this, here you go, Barbara. Just annihilation, like.
Do you know what?
Would have been awesome.
Do you know what episode 5 needs? Right, jumping on top of that, right? Do you know what episode 5 needs? Okay, so boom, we start credits. The boys, bah. Okay, it fades out. All right, and then it pans from the fleet, and the dripping, the cape of Homelander is dripping with blood. Okay, he's come out of the elevator that he was just in. We're panning up from his feet, blood everywhere. Okay, and then boom, we've got the over the shoulder one shot of him just walking around the city with just nothing but gore and blood, people coming over and going, oh my god, oh Homelander, I love you so much, and then he just end up just annihilating people for about 30 seconds, and we have like this one shot. That's what we need. If there's anything we need in The Boys, it's a one shot POV of Homelander just absolutely losing it, caning people, just annihilating. But like, that's great.
And at the end of the shot, who would be the one person that could potentially put Homelander on the right path?
Is that like a, you know who it is, or is that
who could return in episode 5 who's so far not appeared in this series?
You think a certain Soldier Boy is gonna turn out?
Oh no!
Oh
no!
I was so sure.
I mean, Soldier Boy works. Yeah, Soldier Boy works. I was thinking Maeve.
Oh, okay, yeah, Maeve. No, Maeve, yeah,
because Maeve also like, but for a similar reason, I think Maeve or Soldier Boy would be the only two characters that we could potentially get like Homelander. Because, like you say, Homelander is now, I would say, at a point where he would just kill people now.
Yeah.
Right? The guys, what has the guy got to like almost live for, right, at this point? Only thing is Ryan, but even Ryan, you could argue, you know, there's so many reasons why Ryan is doing nothing for Homelander, like in regards, you know, Homelander mentally wouldn't really give a fuck, let's be honest. So I think Maeve or Soldier Boy, this episode 5 is a perfect time to release them back into the wild.
Oh, yeah. See, that's what we want, but will it happen? We'll have to find out next week, won't we, dear listener? Yeah, I think it was a good episode for Homelander, though. It was a really great performance. There were people online, people have been calling out for the fact that if Anthony Starr doesn't get nominated for an Emmy just for this episode alone, it's going to be an absolute crime. He did very, very well. I don't know if it's that far, but I because I think we could have probably, should have probably have got a little bit more toing and fro in the scenes in terms of dialogue. I think we got a lot of backstory, which was great, but I think in terms of like sharing emotional weight, I would have liked to have seen Barbara a little bit more in that, because that is like his only mother, effectively.
Yeah. And she's such a massive character. We saw her for 2 minutes. Yeah. And this is what I mean. Like, just let that... All of those scenes should have just played out for the episode. Like, Barbara, you'd love 20 minutes, because we would have worked... You know, why did Barbara do what she did? What is Barbara's story in relation to Volt, in relation to, you know, how did she get manipulated by Volt in order to do that? Did she get manipulated? Or is that, you know, does she think that, you know, having soups, whatever? There's just so much... It's so rich that I don't know why we've just skirted over those scenes. And I've got a horrible feeling that we're never going to see Barbara again. And if we do see her again, we got another bloody character to follow. I'm like, we didn't even get much of Butcher in this episode. And like, there's a large belief that because it didn't happen in this episode, did it? But after we reviewed last week's and the episode 3. And I don't know if did we talk about it in the pod about the coffee cup? So Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character.
Yeah.
So is it Jeffrey? Yeah, it's Jeffrey Dean Morgan, isn't it?
Yeah.
Negan.
Yeah, Negan,
Guy
yeah.
playing. Yeah, and he sat in front of the table, and the coffee people online have said, because obviously Huey, not Huey, Butcher is imagining Becca.
Yeah.
And people think that he might also be imagining Jeffrey's character. Because in the scene where they're sat in front of each other, but there is a coffee cup in front of Jeffrey that never gets touched. Butcher drinks his, and he pours one for both of them, and that cup never gets touched.
Oh my god!
So there's a strong theory that Butcher is imagining two people, and it's kind of like a, yeah, maybe good versus evil type. Well, they're both kind of saying, just do it, Butcher.
So maybe that might be a fallen colleague as well. Maybe that's somebody that's died in his presence, or he's accidentally killed or something, and then that will get revealed later. I love that theory. That's great.
Yeah, saw that. But yeah, we didn't get much of Butcher. Another one we haven't talked about is back at Huey. We've got a big old thing about his dad.
Yeah.
And a scene, the very last scene in the programme, I did have to rewind and rewatch because I got very confused.
Yeah, so did they put the 10V in or not?
So it looks like his mum put the 10V in.
Yeah.
So Huey has the compound V in his pocket. He leaves the coat on the chair. His mother does like sketchy looks towards the bag. Kind of knows that okay, I've got a feeling I know what Huey's about to do here. But also, why would she know that? Would she even know that Huey's been on Compound V? I don't think we've seen a scene where he's elaborated that. Would he elaborate that to his mum? He didn't like his mum an episode ago. So I'm a little bit like, yeah, okay, I'll stretch my imagination there. But she's looking at his coat. He then goes to a vending machine. He then comes back to the room, and we see the kind of the tubes, don't we?
Yeah.
Fill up with Compound V.
The blue.
And then suddenly Simon Pegg erupts.
We're getting a soup Simon Pegg.
I can't wait, mate.
What do you think is going to happen?
Wait.
Do you think it's going to go badly? I think it was going to go badly because I don't know what else is the story. My only thought here, okay, so with Huey's dad, my only thought is what is there to gain if the character stays alive and recovers?
So
for Huey,
I have a mild theory. Mild theory. I have a spicy theory. I have a Korma-sized theory,
okay.
if you will.
Right.
I think that this plot is going to be the plot that helps Butcher stay alive. So we know that Butcher is dying at the moment. He's got 6 months to live. We also know Huey has a deep love for both Butcher and obviously his dad. I have a feeling you're right, that this isn't going to work for his dad in the way that he thinks it's going to work. However, something is going to happen. I don't know how we can get from A to B, but something is going to happen where because of his dad's blood and the way that it's got Compound V in it and something about the configuration of that whilst he was dead or whatever will mean that if they do a blood transfusion with Butcher, it will keep Butcher alive. It's the only way I see this plot being of any use to any of the other plots that we've got at the moment.
Because where is it going? Do you know what I mean? I think you're absolutely on, right there. I think there's definitely going to be a correlation with the fact that it's going to be a potential saving grace for Butcher. It might. What about on the flip side? Because I did say when we started this series that I think Butcher's going to die in season 4. But if we're doing a season 5, maybe that'll be too early. But my thoughts maybe, what if it works for Huey's dad but doesn't work for Butcher?
Yeah, perhaps.
Maybe because it becomes even more motive for him to go, look, it works for dad, it can work for you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But isn't it a compound V that is killing Butcher though?
Yes, it is. The excessiveness of it. Yeah, true.
So it'd be a difficult. Yeah, I don't know. So I feel whatever is going to connect us from A to B, whether it's, I think one of us is right, and something is obviously going to happen in the next episode, which kind of like moves this on a bit. Maybe this is how we get Barbara back, because I'm trying to think who would know, or is this? I'm really thinking.
Your
on the
cogs are turning, mate.
Or is this what is going to connect Gen V to the boys?
Oh, because it's funny you say that, because they were in an advert, weren't they?
Yes, and because the potion thing, the virus, maybe that is going to be the thing that ultimately saves.
Oh. We need. I mean, we said it on our Friday episode when we were doing Gen V and reviewing that season 1. We need to now see those characters come into play in the stories. We saw a little moment of where are the 4 missing students from Godolphin in a little ident in the episode this series, but we need to see it play in now because all the stuff that's happened in Godolphin is effectively the end game to the Soups in Fort. So when we get to that, I think my thoughts now is that we'll probably see Gen V turn up in the latter stages of this season.
Wouldn't even be shocked if it's the last episode, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I think they'll use it in the last episode, which will then tee us up for Gen V 2. And then Gen V 2 will then collab everything together for the very last series of The Boys.
That's a good idea. I love that. Dear listener, let us know. Give us a comment. Give your thoughts. Be great to hear that. I think the other thing it's worth mentioning, this season we've seen Frenchie and Kimiko kind of split up into 2 separate stories. For the whole show, it's been a Frenchie Kimiko, a unity in their storylines, and now we've got Kimiko now just kind of finding out that the what they call the Shining Light group are coming back. They're rearing their ugly heads and coming back for her after she escaped from them and committed some murders. But we've also got the fact that Frenchie's playing along to the fact that he's living his past as well. I think there's correlations, which I've realised this episode, is that they're both reliving the past. And at the end of the episode, Frenchie reveals to I forgot the character's name, but his family, and saying that he killed his family, and that was revealed. Mate, the way that he went at him, I thought he was gonna freaking kill him. I genuinely thought he was gonna kill him. I thought, oh, okay, this is it. But it has been revealed now, so now they do know, and I'll be interested to see how that kind of plays out. That's going to weigh really heavy on Frenchie now, going forward. So I think we're going to see Frenchie at his lowest going into episode 5. Kimiko's it's interesting. I think we need to have a solo Kimiko story that plays out in one episode, not in just Kimiko in one whole episode, but we just need to see her by herself finding the Shining Light, talking to people about the Shining Light, having a big fight at the Shining Light at the end, and wrapping that up in one episode, and then she can circle back to the actual main story. Because I think eventually, whatever happens with Frenchie, I think Frenchie's going to find himself in dire straits where Kimiko will be there to help and save him. Because they need each other. I'm of the belief that Kimiko and Frenchie need each other. So now they're kind of being separated a little bit. They're gonna kind of realize they're gonna go, oh, actually, I really need you to help me for this, for my history and your history, and resolve that together.
Yes, agreed. Agreed. I found it reasonably sad what they've done with those 2 characters, because I feel like they've really sidelined them, and their plot, their plot's got weight, but the weight isn't coming across in the episodes, and therefore is being very much like pushed to the side compared to everybody else's. And and it's a real shame, because actually they're very, very good characters. So I'm hoping, like you say, we can finish their current stories and then get them fed into the main stories as soon as possible, really. Or their stories are going to be, you know, Shining Light. Is that where the mad two people from the university are going to end up? I don't know. That'll be weird. That's too weird a plot. But I feel like something's got to happen with Shining Light. Otherwise, that's too odd.
Yeah, it's coming at a point in this series where we're telling something that's quite big. So when you bring in a side plot like that, it's got to play into the biggest thing. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm sure it'll be absolutely fine. I have trust in it still. I'm enjoying it still. I don't know. Am I enjoying it? See, this is the thing. If we're comparing it to the MCU, I think I probably at this point would have gone, "It's a pile of shit. I'm so angry about it." But because it's still quite fresh as a concept. You know, it hasn't been telling stories like this for like 10 plus years. But the boys' formula, there is something that needs to develop for the audience, because I think the audience are getting a little bit cognizant of the formula of the boys, and the gore is becoming slightly even more outlandish, but also it's coming out of a place where it doesn't really serve the narrative. Like, did she need to get a frontal lobotomy? No. Did she need to do that? No. Those types of, you know, did Thingy need to, you know, toss himself off in front of her people? I don't really think so. There probably could have been another way of doing it. But again, if you're talking about this is what the boys is, this is what it is disgusting. This is the formula, it's part of their formula. But we're kind of being a bit like, okay, right, fine. The reactions aren't as prominent as they used to be.
No, I didn't mind the the tossing off moment.
It was
purely because it really was, but it was, you know, they did that to him they didn't do that, but you know, Homelander is doing what he feels that actually he's taking revenge for how he was treated as a kid, which has far more weight and substance than the rest of it. There's so much banging going on at the moment. Far more weight than the random lobotomy of a character that we've only just met, and the reason for her lobotomy is to kind of, you know, give us reason as to why her and Deep are having sex. So it's so flat and one dimensional that we had to see that, in comparison to the reason why we saw a guy wank himself off is because he's, you know, revenging a dark past that he had when Homelander was a kid, kind of.
Just to kind of finish off, because we haven't really spoken about him too much at all. Billy Butcher, what are your thoughts on the interesting tadpole Illithid from Baldur's Gate flying around inside him right now? Because that's what it looked like.
It does. It looks exactly like that. I like it. He took a bit of a back burner for this episode, which I think is fair enough, bearing in mind we had a lot of Butcher for the last couple of episodes. And again, that kind of makes me more believe that the Simon Pegg thing is related, because I'm like, well, we've rested Butcher, but we're really talking about Huey with his dad. Kind of, it does really feel to me that that's coming together. But yeah, I quite like it. It gives a dimension. I don't feel like people are giving much of a shit about it, though.
No.
Like, people can see it's happening. Like Mother's Milk, right, for instance, can see it's happening. Doesn't really seem to be much care.
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah, it's a lot of like people going, "Oh, you're right, Butcher." Clearly, the guy's fucking not. He's about to die, but you know, we're all just
true. Like, fair enough. Billy Butcher's not been. He's not exactly a saint. He's not exactly treated everybody very well at all last few series. But like, he is a dying man, and there is a lack of empathy right now.
It's just like, guys, you know, like, and this is what I mean by Kimiko and Frenchie, right? What your mate mate that's like got everyone together and you've done all kinds of things. Kimiko would, arguably Kimiko wouldn't be alive or in the way that she is if it wasn't for Butcher initially getting the group to go and, So I'm like, no one gives a fuck that Butcher's died.
So true.
They're all just doing their own thing. Like, yeah, we're all fine. And I'm like, what? You know the Butcher's being like violently sick and he's being irrational and his wife's just died and even just that, even if he wasn't dying, his wife's just recently died. Like the guy doesn't seem to be any care in the world for the guy, to be quite honest. It's quite funny. But yeah.
But I mean I think overall the Homelander stuff has given us a really good development. I think the Starlight Firecracker thing, I'm really interested to see what will happen in the next episode for that. I hope it continues to develop. I think it should. I think we need to see a real parallel between Homelander and Starlight now in terms of both of them being as bad as each other. It's like when Daenerys Targaryen kind of loses it at the end of Game of Thrones, but in a good way. Yeah, I'm interested to see what happens going next. What are your thoughts? Final thoughts, mate?
I'm intrigued. Yeah, exactly the same as you. I'm very intrigued for the next episode. I'm looking forward to Homelander, Huey and Huey's dad, and Butcher. They are the 4 characters. I admit I've just picked all 4 men. But yeah, it is the boys, in all fairness to me. I think Starlight and Firecracker, yeah, fine. I think, they've done it. Yeah, all right, they've had a thingy. I just don't understand where that's going, I think. Yeah. I just don't really get where that's going. I don't... Kimiko, yeah, I'm excited for that. But I'm excited for their plot to finish so that we can get Kimiko and Frenchie into the main frame as quickly as possible. Yeah. So I'm intrigued. I think they can't do oh my God, say your words. This next episode has to be strong. I think there are a lot of people questioning this series so far, and I think if this next episode is a bit of a kind of just plodding along, a bit of a filler, I think we need to start getting some real answers. What is going to happen with the Gen V lot? What is, why are Deep and Sage? What is happening with Deep and Sage? Is that an actual connection, or is Sage doing what she's told the others to do, and she's putting the wool over his eyes? In which case, why? Because no one really likes the Deep, so why'd you pick the Deep to do that too? I mean, we haven't even talked about fucking A-Train, but he's podding around in the background doing a little bit, but yeah, I don't know. We just it needs to start coming together quite quickly and going, right, what is the vital plot? What is the primary plot that is going to take us through to the end of this series? Because if we don't start getting one, and we just keep getting disconnected plots, where it's really going to lose its way quite quickly, this series, I think.
Do you know what? It just popped into my head while you were saying that. I think the criticisms on the front here with season 4 is that we've got all these different storylines that are being played out in a really disjointed way. The pacing's either too quick or it's too slow. And do you know what? Thinking about it, because they've announced they're finishing the end of season 5, they have probably or had mapped out the character arcs. I mean, I should hope so. It's because it's good writing if you do this, and it's good planning to realise where your characters are going throughout the whole series, where is the beginning, middle, and end point for the overall thing. And I think what they're doing now is, now they know that there is an end game, there is an end point for the series, for the show, that they're going, shit, we've got to play this out now. We've got to do this bit now in this season. And I think that's why in season 4 we're seeing loads of these different stories being played out simultaneously, 4 or 5 different plot points that are played out into this episode. And it's because they've got to. Because it's going to, I think, like you say, when we get to season 5, that whole season's going to be about one thing.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? So I think maybe this is that season where they just go, we've got to do this, we've got to play that, we've got to get all this character development in, so they can then play and funnel all of that through to the end game.
Yeah.
So maybe that is what's happening, but unfortunately that can be to the detriment of the series as a whole because it becomes oversaturated, convoluted, and not very enjoyable for us as an audience. So we'll see. Let's see.
We'll see. Let's watch the space. Thank you, Matt. It's been a very enjoyable hour talking and discussing all things The Boys episode 4.
Dear listener, I hope you had a great time as well. Now, we will have a Friday episode, dear listener, because we have been invited to review The Exorcism, which has recently been dropped last week. No, it's called
Exorcist.
It's called The Exorcism.
Is it?
Yes. Because The Exorcist is the classic movie, but this is based on that movie, but from an actor playing the role of the pastor.
That's the one.
That's the one.
That's it. Yeah.
You were so sure.
So far, so good.
You were so sure. That was hilarious. It's directed by Joshua John Miller, and dear listener, Russell Crowe. So obviously Russell Crowe has been in the MCU and DC universe, so it gives us good reason to review it. So we're gonna review it on Friday's episode, and we're gonna kind of package these episodes, these wild cards that are gonna happen to kind of more often now. So our wildcard episodes will now effectively become something like this. So it's really exciting. So it's kind of like the first of this kind of new progression for the podcast. So do join us on Friday for this review. If you've seen it as well, because it drops on the 21st of June, do let us know what your thoughts about it beforehand. So if you're listening to this right now and want to get your comments in, do let us know and we'll try and get those out for Friday. All right. That's all I need to say.
Brilliant. Ta-ra for now, Matt.
Ciao,
see you soon.
See you later. I stay up too late. Dun 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 dun. That's what people say. That's what people say. You don't fuck with the Swifties. Don't fuck with the.